suggest I go live showing this. I am in, where am I? Eastern Pennsylvania. And I'm waiting on a load. So I ran to Wally World, came back, and I'm driving back to the truck stop going through this. And the wife suggested I film this, and I guess this looks kind of cool. Of course, I'm from Texas, and we don't get a lot of this, but anybody who's interested from around the world can see this. This is just a backcountry road right here. And I passed a guy driving a little tiny lawnmower tractor that had a snowplow like this guy right here on it, which was kind of funny. And I got nobody behind me, so I'm not in that big of a hurry. This goes about 6 miles on this road before I have to turn. My morning drink. Making that sound. I just thought this was fun to look at. It rained last night, snowed last night when I got up. And this is what I saw when I'm heading back to the truck stop. I got somebody coming up behind me, so I'm probably going to move out of the way here and let them go by. Can't pull in there. I have something in here rattling and it's driving bonkers. Russia. Oh wow, if you're from Russia, you get this all the time. This kind of weather. I'm out of Texas, and we don't have a lot of this stuff in Texas, so to me this is interesting. So what I'm going to do is let this guy go by and let this other guy go by who's now pulling out. So hold on 1 second. Come on, dude, you can do it. Come on. So you're just going to sit there in the middle of the road. Okay, never mind. My bad. I thought that guy was driving. I was mistaken. Huh. That was weird. Anyway, I just wanted to see this. No all-wheel drive? No, I have a rear-wheel drive van, but I have a setting on here that allows me to deal with ice. And it's 32 degrees right now, which is right near freezing, so this isn't actually slippery. I just thought it looked cool, and the wife suggested I film this area. Here comes a plow, making a mess. Yeah, I told it earlier, I said I went by a guy that was driving a little tiny lawnmower tractor, and it had a snow plow on the front of it. He was trying to race down the road here to another driveway. He wasn't having a lot of luck because the thing was probably going 10 miles an hour and it was zigzagging all over the road. He's kind of losing control of it. But yeah, this looks really nice. And again, I live in Texas, so we don't have this kind of stuff. And I was talking to the wife, and I went to video and said, hey, look at this. And she said, go back and start over and live stream this. So here we are. 2 nights ago when it snowed, we got about, I'm eyeballing 8 to 10 inches, and it was that super, super light, fluffy stuff that's not even, there's like no moisture in it. And last night's was a little more wet, which is what this is. This is a little squishier. I grew up in Colorado, and four-wheel drive was the name of the game. And when we moved there in 1980, I was a little kid, and my mother was all hardcore to go buy a 4-wheel drive of something or another. And that's right when front-wheel drive cars were starting to become a mainstream thing. You know, she found out Subaru made a 4-wheel drive car. She was going to go buy one, and the sales guy said, you know, a front-wheel drive car actually gives you about 80% of the traction of a 4-wheel drive car. And she goes, oh, okay. So my mother bought a Subaru, and we drove it until it was dust. Had that car for years and years. Yeah, this is awesome. See, it's not only the snow hanging off the limbs, but stuck to the side of the tree. You can see where it was hitting it at an angle. And I posted a video this morning. I had my generator running last night. I have a little ceramic heater I put inside the van, and the heater's maybe 6 inches square. And within about 10 minutes, it started getting hot in there. So I had to turn it down, the setting down a little bit. But I got up this morning and the generator had snow all over it, which that's a first. One of the side benefits, yeah, tell me about it. In Texas, it's 70-something degrees. Yeah, this is weird. That's why I like looking at it. I enjoy driving around. This is unusual. That's one of the great advantages of expediting is you travel all over the country. And, you know, you get to see stuff like this. And if you live here, this is just an annoyance. And you're completely used to it. But if you're from another area, this is unusual. You know, for what we get. It snows in Texas once every 10 years. Maybe. Where we live. Maybe. We have a gas furnace in our house, a gas heater, and I think we've turned it on in the last 12 years that we've lived there, 13 years. We've turned it on 3 times. And it's just, yeah, we don't get this. Here's somebody snow blowing. Hardcore. I like it. Look in front of us, you see that barn is red. At this point, barns being red is traditional. And where that actually came from was back in the day, you know, go back a few hundred years, you had to treat your barn to keep the wood from rotting. Because you've seen where someone puts up a building with raw wood and then the rain and weather gets to it and it starts to fall apart. They had to treat it. And there was something in the soil you could mix. Some kind of clay and compounds you could just mix naturally to make a sealant to put on the wood. And it just, by happenstance, it made everything turn red. So that's why you see red barns. Now it's just tradition to have a red barn. But that's where that got started from. Because I looked that up one time. Yeah, well, yesterday, not last night, but the night before, we had eyeballing it, 8 to 10 inches fell on the roads. And I was holed up at a truck stop because I don't have any cargo, which blows, but I didn't have anything to carry, so I was just hanging out. And I was listening to people come into the truck stop, and they were all yipping and yapping about how hard it was to get the last few miles into that place, and how the side roads were plugged and the ramps were plugged and trucks were stuck on the ramps, and it was like, I'm glad I'm in here. Yeah, I see things. If I see something a couple times, I start asking questions. You know, what's it with red? What's the deal with red? Well, they didn't have a choice. So now it's a tradition, which is kind of cool. I enjoy that. Chicago. Yeah, I probably get this all the time in Chicago. Let's see, drop a gear here. Take this out. Roll down this one. Look at those trees on the right. Another translation, when you get snow and it starts to melt, people have concerns of flooding. Actually, 1 foot of snow melts into 1 inch of water, so that tells you what you're dealing with. So like I said, I'm driving kind of slow here because I'm not in that big of a hurry, but I got another car coming up behind me, so I'm going to be looking for a place to slide off to the side here for a minute. Yeah, well, it's a three-day weekend. I didn't get a load on Friday, which blows. So I've been stuck Friday, Saturday. Now it's Sunday, and I'm probably going to get stuck Monday for the holiday. And I keep checking in with our dispatch, hoping against hope that I can get something to get rolling because I can't stand Would you prefer I talk in radio voice? Yes, that's right. I can turn that one. Yeah, I don't do that. It annoys people. I do it to my wife occasionally. I used to fly with a guy. Whoa, whiteout conditions. I used to fly with a pilot, and I don't know what happened to him years ago. His name was Bob Salter, and Bob Salter used to be a news anchor. And when he talked just like that. So we would have conversations in news anchor voice, and we'd be going back and forth, and people would be looking at us. Let me pull right here just to see what this car go by. Let me pull off here just for a second. You know, this person's doing the same thing I'm doing. They're barely moving. I guess they're either taking video or just enjoying the view. There's one. There's another one. Car and a Jeep. All right, I got some more trivia for you. Just went by us. That's a Jeep. Where did that word come from? The word Jeep. Ding, 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 ding. In the military, they give these big, long names to pieces of equipment. When I crewed armor, when I first joined the Army, I was enlisted, and I was a tanker. And on paper, a tank was written out as tank, comma, combat, comma, M1, comma, full tracked. So they give these big official names. The Jeep, when it first came out in 1940, they actually called it a quad. It was all-wheel drive all the time, four-wheel drive. And it was referred to as it was a vehicle, comma, utility, comma, general purpose, comma, quad. So the word general purpose turned into GP, which turned into Jeep. That's the Humvee, for instance, highly mobile multi-wheeled vehicle or something. Humvee or Hummer. And that's just where the name came from. Because there was always an argument about that. Who came up with that name? It's not named after a person. It's named after an acronym. I gotta follow this here a few miles down. I guess I'm heading back to the... Oop, now there's a snowblower and a snow shoveler. The guy doing the snowblower is wearing shorts. Viking. Oh yeah, I just... thank you, Denna Davis. Thanks. Yeah, I just have an inquisitive mind. My wife is worse. I just see things and you sit there and scratch your head. What is this and why does this do this and how come, and I start digging. The older you get, the more generic information you pick up that means absolutely nothing. But no, I will not be crashing. I'm going too slow. But yeah, I see things and it interests me. Like be out in the country and you see trees going along a road and somebody's painted a purple stripe on the tree. And every one's a purple, pink, or some combination between the two. And you see a random stripe and my brain says power lines or something. But you'd be in the middle of nowhere, purple stripe. So finally I looked up, what does a purple or a pink stripe mean on a tree? That's no trespassing. No, I'm not going to go that fast. I'm lazy. I'm just wasting time heading back to the truck stop right now. I'm not looking to break any land speed records here. Oh, house for sale. Cool. No outlet. There's a bridge off to the left. They've got it all blocked off so we can't get on it. Communists. I would have enjoyed driving down there. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, that's right. I'm driving a van. I have no balls. I got you something to look up. Here, put this in the YouTube search engine. Solo rental cannonball. You're going to see a black Volkswagen Bug with a red background and a guy standing there with his hands on his hips. Watch that video if you want to talk about speed. I'm going 23 right now. Go look up Solo Rental Cannonball. Go 230. You're gonna have to translate that. We don't use kilometers over here. This van, these Ford vans will do 98 miles an hour. I've kind of looked into that. Never done it with this one, but I know they'll do it. They're government. 230. The fastest I've ever been in a car was 194. The fastest I've ever driven a car was 159, I think it was, which is a governor. Okay. Yeah, well, like I said, go look up Solo Rental Cannonball. And just know that the guy on the thumbnail's me, and you could watch that. That'll give you some background. It's in my playlist somewhere. I got a playlist called Cannonball, and you'll see it in there. The one I was riding in was a Lambo, and the one I was driving was a stretched out Mercedes, 700 horsepower Mercedes. And like I said, it had a 159 mile an hour governor on it. The car would get to 159 right now. 400 and a Honda. Yeah, and what kind of tires did that have on it? Even Y-rated tires won't go that fast. That's the problem, is you got to have tires, Y or Z-rated tires to do that kind of stuff. .428 miles per hour in a Honda. Are you reading what you're writing? In the Autobahn, this is back in the 1980s. There's my finish line. On the Autobahn, back at I don't know what's going on over there now, but they had 4 lanes on the highway. And to translate it in English, the far right lane was you got to be going 70. The next lane over, you had to be going about 110. The third lane over was the passing lane for the 110, and the fourth lane over was don't be there. You have no business being in the left lane. And people, when they get into that left lane and they're going for it, they flip on their left turn signal. And if that left turn signal is on, they'll flash their headlights. But if they come up behind you, this is back then, if you come up behind somebody and you're in the show-off lane and you're not showing off to their speed, they can actually crash into you and you'll get the ticket. 400 miles per hour on the ground in a wheeled vehicle, forgetting the amount of power it would require and the drag, the fact that your radial tires would come apart, would shred the tire. That's why when they have those rocket-propelled aircraft that are out, they use it, that place in California or Nevada, wherever they do the testing, they always have steel wheels on them because the rubber, they don't make rubber that strong. I'm supposed to be pulling in here to hang out, but I'm going to keep driving for a few minutes just to see what this looks like, because I enjoyed that run down that road. We'll go over this hill and see what's going on. This is Interstate 78, east-west road here in southern Pennsylvania, over towards the western end of the state. Oh, what's this? Intersection. It says Mountain View. There's a fruit stand. I don't think they're open today. Dutch Valley Mountain View. Yeah, we'll just cruise down here and see what we have going on. So this is me trying to waste time. I look for museums to go to, and I've only found one in this entire area that caught my fancy. And the one I found is an aviation museum that charges $45. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to go to it that bad. And that was it. And there's nothing showing in the theaters right now that catch my attention. So I really don't have anything to mess with right now, so I'm just kind of wasting time. Play on YouTube like everybody else. Let's see what's down here. 45 what? Speed limit? Is that the question? I said I'm just driving and checking out the scenery. Riverboat Saloon Bar and Grill. Not looking too lively. All right, I got cars coming up behind me, so I'm gonna let them go by. 45, yeah, $45 is really expensive to go walk around a museum. The Chicago Museum of Art, which has the U-505 submarine, is $24. I'm a veteran, I get it free, but $45 to go into a museum, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too much. That's like, you know, charge $9, charge $15, but $45 to go walk around and look at stuff? Nah, I'm good. I'm not that desperate. And you know, you get a discount if you're old like me sometimes. You get a discount being a veteran. That's why I like the Chicago Museum. Like I said, it was 24 or something, and I got in for free, and I posted some videos of that. I love history. And I'm a World War II buff, and I think one of my favorite things about history is when you can walk up and put your hand on it, and you can walk up to the U-505 and touch it. And if you are not familiar with it, I've got it in my playlist. You see the sub, but it got captured at sea. A combat vessel being captured at sea is kind of unheard of. But it happened, which was kind of cool. The crew, they got it blown to the surface, wore it out, bore the battery out, and the crew jumped out and pulled the plug and set a bomb. And the Navy, the U.S. Navy, jumped in, pulled the fuse out of the bomb, put the plug back in, and were able to save the sub and get it back stateside, which is pretty awesome. My is off 96. Drive safe, big bro. That's me. Yeah, look at this. This is kind of fun to look at. I am learning because I buy stuff for the band a lot, and I grocery shop at Kroger, which is the chain I use. But when I'm on the road, I hit Wally World because it's easier to find. And I can judge an area by its Walmart. If you can walk in and there's nobody guarding the door, and there's no electric gates to stop you from walking around, it's a good Walmart. And they have the little blue baskets. But if it has none of that, and it has the gates and multiple guards and people walking, it's kind of a low-end area. And you kind of can feel it. You kind of get a feel for that. And this one I went to here in the town of Hamburg, Pennsylvania, was very nice, very friendly, very clean. And I could feel the difference in it. And it's weird at different parts of the drive recklessly. I'm just enjoying the scenery. Somebody scraped this off at some point today. The roads are snowy, but they're not slippery. No, just Hamburg, not hamburger. Very German town. Went through, and all the buildings were very European style from like turn of the century, last century. Very clean, very organized. Everybody was out shoveling their walkways. They were really taken care of. Wow, look at this. Hamburger. Wow, look at this. I gotta take a screenshot of that. Wow. Freaking wow. This looks like a postcard. Let me jump out and get a formal screenshot of this, because I don't get to see stuff like this very often. Hold on. I gotta shrink this down. Reconnect. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. I don't see any Bigfoot prints, but you never can be too careful. Wow. Wow. Let me get back in my hoopty. This is one of the advantages of this job, is you get to see all this stuff. go up to the Upper Peninsula of Mission. Spent the night in a hotel on the water. Stick your finger in the water and almost fell off from cold. But I remember going up there and walking around on the beach, and just the sandy, gravelly beach they had, and just enjoying it. It's a little bumpy through here. I'm going to try that one more time on my window here. Hold on one. All right, I'm back. I needed to take a couple pictures there. This doesn't even look real out here. Yeah, this is awesome. High overcast. Got about another mile of this road. Yeah, this I have a Ford Transit van. This is the medium roof, extended wheelbase. In my last van, when I did this years ago temporarily, I had the high roof and the extended rear end that stuck way out. And that van was absolutely atrocious in snow conditions. I could look at a picture of snow and the van would start getting stuck. It was bizarre. This one here is not phenomenal, but it's doable, it's manageable in snow, but that van was just blah. But it does have a setting on the dashboard, ice, snow and ice setting, so the transmission knows what's going on if it gets slippery. Even junked out vehicles look good when there's snow all over them. Huh. Some dogs outside, that's a little odd. Now we have a nice white road underneath us. Look at that. And I thought I was going to be bored today. I was mistaken. Oncoming traffic. One lane road, one lane bridge ahead. Friendly folks waving. Huh. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of in awe right now. I'm enjoying this profusely. Again, if you live in this, this means nothing to you, but for the people who don't see this very often, this is really neat. Yeah, a little bit of water pass under us there, a little creek. As long as the water keeps moving, it won't freeze, but as soon as this sits still, you're going to have problems. I see no prints of any type of Animal Crossing, deer, or anything around here. And I'm kind of checking the bushes on the left and the right. Driving across Nevada in the wintertime, in the middle of nowhere, they have these tunnels, maybe 2 feet in diameter, that go under the roads, the interstate. And if you see the snow on the side of the roads, the tracks from rabbits converging on this tunnel, because the rabbits know to go through those tunnels and not over the highway. Just got here. Where is this? I am in Pennsylvania. I am between the little tiny town of Hamburg, no Gur, just Hamburg, and Schatlitzburg. I'm just north, within probably 200 yards north of Interstate 78, and I'm just hanging out here, and I was just driving around on a paved road, and my wife said, you should live stream that. So I went back and live streamed the area I had gone through, and now I'm just exploring. This just looks awesome, that's all. Again, to anybody who lives in this condition, this is boring. But for the rest of us, this is pretty awesome. Texas, we don't get this. This keeps getting little driplets on the windshield, though. 2 nights ago, it snowed about 8 to 10 inches, and it was that super fluffy snow that has like no moisture content. It's like dust. And then last night it snowed about 3 more inches, and it was this stuff that's a little more wet. They keep having storms cruising overhead. That tree split. Wow. On the right. Huh. And the best part is, Bigfoot can't hide. Yeah, in Arizona, yeah. Like I said, we don't get this in Texas. When growing up in Colorado as a kid, I remember we went to church on Christmas Eve in 1982. We were inside the building for 1 hour, came out, and there were 2 feet of snow on the ground. You stop and go, okay, what just happened? They call it the blizzard of 82. It just buried the state. And on my time off, this time I put new tires on the van, so I've got good meat on these. My last 4 tires, I put 80,000 miles on it. 82,000 miles on the tires. Oof. And they were getting kind of thin, so I'm glad I've got fresh meat on here, because this is a little slickery on the highway. Cruise back down here and see where this ends up. I've got some nav gear going that's showing me where the truck stop is, kind of, but I don't even know what road this is. I'm just enjoying the drive. It's like a movie scene. It's amazing. You can take a junkyard, cover it in snow, and it looks good. It's like my wife said, if you get your skin tanned up a little bit, it looks good. Doesn't care if you're fat, it looks good. Just makes everything look good. The Shining, yeah, that hotel. That's not too far from where I grew up, by the way, where they filmed that. I can't remember the name of the hotel anymore, but that was right up in the area that there's a pull-off area, but I'll probably get stuck. Yeah, I just get stuck in there if I pulled off. Don't want to risk it. Probably get found by Bigfoot later. Hi, back to Thomas Bradley and Robert Crawford. Where's everybody tuning in from? I know we got Arizona. I don't know where else people are coming from. Kind of curious. I've had a guy that comes on here semi-regularly. He's from Ethiopia, and he gets a kick out of some of the terrain that I film during the day. We see fog and, green trees and lush lawns and fog, and he's just taken aback by it because he's not used to it. Well, there's somebody pulled in there. Of course, his truck might be stuck in that spot. Yeah, there's a truck over here, but there's no tire marks. I guess he's been sitting there a while. 3-ton weight limit. Wow. That's not much. By your picture. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I spent 35 years as a helicopter pilot, and I formally stopped flying the tail end of 2024. I flew attack helicopters, oil and gas industry, did some Grand Canyon tours. Just the nature of the business. It's kind of a little skinny bridge. And my last job, where you're seeing that picture, I was flying medical, and I kind of lost my medical, so I don't fly anymore. But I did 35 years, and I survived to tell the story, so I'm happy with what I did. Door gunner, that's cool. Yeah, I flew the Cobra. Remember the old AH-1 Cobras? Yeah, I'm like the last group of guys that got to fly those before they got retired. Yeah, I am currently in Pennsylvania. To put it on a bigger scale, I'm between Allentown and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. probably 200 yards north of Interstate 78. I'm just driving around some back roads. Ooh, we got a deer in the road up here. We got a four-wheeler in the road over there. Look up here. Oh, he's running. Way up there, he's running. I didn't plan on going this way. Yeah, I actually learned how to fly in a Huey. That was my primary trainer. Yeah, that deer just ran into the bushes right here. Let me see if he's still around. Yeah, back in most pilots, about 99% of the pilots, learn their initial training is in a piston-powered aircraft, and then later on they transition into a turbine engine. When I went through in 1989, they stuck us straight into a Huey, so all of my 16,900 hours are in turbine-powered aircraft. And people say, well, how does this compare to a piston-powered? I don't know. Well, what about the R-44? I don't know. I've never flown one. The old pig boat. That's kind of the joke about the Huey. They said when the Apache and the Blackhawk get dropped off at the museum, the pilots will ride back in a Huey. That aircraft has been operational since 1957, and they still use them. Oh, another turn. It's going to turn down this road. Oh. Nope, that wasn't a road. I lied. Well, according to my GPS, I'm going to run out of road. It's telling me to turn around. Is this the end of the road, or is it just saying this road doesn't go where I need it to? So, yep, this is the end of the road. Okay, I got to turn around. I just got to figure out how I'm going to do it without getting stuck here. But this guy standing right here is not really helping. Okay, let me try this. There we go. I don't want to get my rear end too far out of the way here. Let me see if I can do this. Lakeside, no. Alright, here goes the big one here. Is it going to make it? Hey, it's making it. You know, that guy could not be in a worse place. Could not be in a worse place. Seriously, dude. Go anywhere you want. You want to stand right there on the side of the road. Thank you. I am somewhere in the woods between Harrisburg and Allentown, Pennsylvania, probably 100 or 200 yards north of Interstate 78 near the town of Charlottesburg. And I am waiting on something to happen, so I'm just wasting time. And I started driving down one of these little snow-covered roads, and my wifey poo said, hey, go live stream that. It looks cool. So I am live streaming this because it looks cool. I've seen a couple of deer dart out in front of us. Oh, I go through Indiana all the time. This is just, you know, it's like this winter shut off here for a month. It got to where I was wearing shorts, you know, just driving around in shorts all the time. And then here a few days ago, it got cold again. That's why I made a video. One of my videos here from, I don't know, a week ago said, winter's back, because I started doing this again. What blows is this is a 3-day weekend, and I didn't get any load on Friday, so I got Friday and Saturday sitting around doing nothing. And now I've got Sunday, and there's nothing happening. And Monday's a holiday. So this blows. I need deer down here. Yeah, the core area for expediting is Illinois. You start over there, you got Minnesota, Wisconsin, let's say Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois. Then you move your way over to Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, kind of in there in the Carolinas. And that's kind of the core area for this kind of work, kind of expediting work. And again, expediting is nothing more than truck driving in a box van with a whole lot less rules. Because you don't have to have a CDL, you don't have to follow DOT stuff. You're just like driving your car. You know, that vehicle was sitting there when I drove by earlier. That's a rather odd place to park a four-wheeler, but yeah, that was there 10 minutes ago. I think those guys are doing. South Bend? Yeah, I blow through there on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, one of the loads I picked up coming this way was out of South Bend. Cruised up South Bend and went down to, is it Logansport, I think? The problem with this kind of work is within 12 or 15 hours after you've been somewhere, you can't remember where you've been because there's just so many drops. I'm just driving around right now because I'm waiting. My job is to pick up a load and go somewhere, and I dropped my load off super late Thursday. I didn't get a load on Friday, and now it's into the weekend, and there's just nothing moving because it's a holiday weekend. So I been sleeping in the van here at the truck stop, and I want to do laundry, and I'm at a Love's, and for reasons I don't understand, Love's doesn't have washers and dryers, which is odd because all the pilots have them. So I drove back into the town of Hamburg, and did laundry. And then I went and found an excuse while I was there, went to Wally World, had to buy a little bit of stuff, and I ate at Cracker Barrel, or Crackle Barrel as they call it in my house. And on the way home, instead of getting back on the interstate, I started taking a back road, and I'm on this, and my wife said, you need to go back and live stream that. And I'm married, I don't want to get beaten by my wife, so I said, yes, dear. And then I turned around and went back to the front and flipped this on just to show it, because it looks cool. Now, again, if you live in this, no big deal, but for the rest of us, this looks cool. But I'm getting ready to go back. I'm generally speaking and heading towards the truck stop right now. I'm going to go back over there and hide out for a while and try to come up with a plan, because I don't have one right now. Again, I can't find a museum I want to spend money on. There's no movies to go watch. I just wish they'd call me and say, hey, go pick up that box of whatever and go to California or something. To date, I've had exactly one California run, and I loved it. It was Niagara Falls to California, to Los Angeles area, which was absolutely wonderful. Very profitable, too. But I got to retrace my cannonball route up through the mountains, going slightly slower, I'd like to add. Cool looking trees on the right. See, those are all matching. Drop the gear, let it drag its way down the hill. There's another one of those barns. On the right, another red barn. Yep. I've got some snow sitting on the roof, and I occasionally hear it falling off, crunching, crackling, rolling off the top. Oof, look at this. Did I just go around in a big circle? I may have just gone around in a big circle. Yeah, I think I went around a big circle. Amazon. Oh, it's an Amazon warehouse. I thought I was looking at a Walmart because the colors are the same. So no, this is not the same road I was on. Signs with white borders are optional, so I don't have to stop. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm almost back to the truck stop here. So anyway, I'm spending some quality time here hanging out at the truck stop. Not a lot of fun, but can't go anywhere else, and I don't want to drive for the sake of driving. I told them to cast a really wide net to try to find something. I don't mind chasing a load. I'd rather chase a load to get going versus just sitting here not doing anything. But I'm going to whip in here and go back to parking for a while. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I really enjoyed driving around there, and I like when people have these little chats going back and forth. I will be in touch again later. You guys take care. Bye.